So, out of order, I apologize, but this is the construction of the bay windows. I decided it was time to work on those and to set aside the stairs for a little bit. I need to reflect and maybe redo them. I'm not sure yet because it's crooked and all that stuff, and I'm kind of waiting for my laser cutter to get here if it ever does. But so yeah, here I am stripping a piece of cedar that I had bent earlier on this summer. And I locked it in place and let it dry that way so I could get that natural curve into the arch. And I am now stripping it of all of its bark. It's really satisfying, by the way, to strip these things with a little X-Acto knife. Just please be careful because you can actually nip your knuckle on your thumb knuckle, if you're not careful. But a nice sharp blade will make quick work of this and create a nice, beautiful, smooth piece of wood. I will sand it down more as I work. So I used the cutout from the actual window to create the face for this one. And so here I am cutting out the arch so I can put the wood in using my Dremel. It's a really rough cut. I just used a lot of glue to kind of hold everything into place. And there you go. And as you can see, there's gaps, but that's going to be covered with putty. Sorry about the weird speed here. I actually did this on a time lapse and then slowed it down, so it's kind of behaving strangely. So I'm adding a crossbar here and then a bottom piece, which is going to be a cross beam. And yep, cutting with my little table saw again. And I am creating the box container, so to speak, the box sides in the roof for the bay windows now. And I'm cutting for both of them because there's a first floor and second floor bay. And I'm just doing a concept idea here, using this as a guide as to what I'm going to do with the first floor one. So I'm cleaning up edges, marking centers so I know where windows go, etc., etc. And I am now cutting the roof pieces, the gables, so to speak. And those are just getting chopped out with the table saw again. Okay. And now I'm using this as a measure and evening things out. And I'm going to start putting together the sides and whatnot. I'm taping first and then gluing. Just makes life a little easier. Okay, so those are going to set those to dry. So now I have these other pieces and I'm gluing them in. And I am gluing in the crossbeam. I ran out of balsa wood in the air coating 1x6 dimension, so I decided to use a balsa wood and basswood. So I used balsa wood. I'm not happy with it. Here I am. I'm cutting extremely dangerously. Please do not follow my example. I am being as careful as I can not to get my fingers nicked on this thing, but I'm definitely taking a lot of risks. But I got some branches from outside. They were dry. They were under the eave of our house. One of them was actually a little bit moldy. That's why it's gray. And I am trimming them in half so I get some symmetry here. And the corners here, I'm cutting out about a quarter of each of them, like notch into each one, so it will fit around the corner and look like beams. There you go. So I also need to get a beam for the window, and I am shaving them off as I go. These branches are really dry. Our eaves keep things pretty dry, surprisingly, even though we live in what is a rainforest. So, and here I am putting the gables up and gluing them in. So that's one little bay window, and we'll just set that aside. And now I'm going to finish doing all the beams on this one. And the arch is a little bit off center, but I'm not worried about it. I think it looks nice, and once everything is in place, it's gonna look really nice. I'm not worried about the imbalance on it or anything. And I'm just putting in the wood beams where I want them, notching out the corners of the sticks. And cutting. There you go. And then I just kind of put them on the corner and glue them in. I like the organic feel of it. And I'm reinforcing this bottom beam as well, so it looks like it's holding up a heavy log. Hold that in place. And more gables. Oh yes, I have to sand down the edges of these corner beams for the gables to fit. So those are set and ready to go. And now you can watch the other video. They look nice so far. I love how organic they look. They're going to be nice on the house.